And you are not looking live from the Dude Wife studio located inside the South Point Hotel and Casino in fabulous Las Vegas. Welcome to Gone Racin.
That was quite the intro.
I got a sheet that I was, Ann had to write a sheet, and I figured homage to Mr. Musburger, who, of course, this studio was started because of Brent Musburger.
Well, off the air, we talked about doing it like Brent Musburger. We talked about doing it like Jim Nance, and I think you just did it like no one I've ever heard
I did
before.
it like Brendan
You
Gaughan.
did it like Brendan Gaughan.
That's right.
There
Don't you forget it.
And it may never be done again.
Ann may take this paper away and never want it again. Welcome into Gone Racin, of course. Brendan Gaughan, Mr. Jeffrey Motley, formerly of Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And Mr. Motley, we are here to break down everything that happened last week at Dover and, of course, get to the final round of the NASCAR In-Season Challenge at the lovely Brickyard.
Just what we all thought. A couple of ties battling out for a win.
I'll tell you what, it was really, once again, a fun race to watch for the in-season tournament. You know, not that I liked their, I've gone off about the seedings quite a few times, but they had a really, Ty Gibbs versus his teammate Tyler Reddick. Tyler Reddick had it most of the day. At the very end, the pit stops, the red flag, the whole deal. Ty Gibbs comes home with that win. Ty Dillon ends up with John Hunter Nemechek. John Hunter had his little incident, and it basically Ty Dillon just stayed out, beat him by one spot in the end.
It's kind of like there's been a Ty Dillon jinx on whoever he's going against, because other than Alex Bowman, everybody else he beat had a problem.
Well, and here's the deal. John didn't have a problem. They just both trapped the lap down, but Ty Dillon stayed in position to get the lucky dog when the red flag came out, which put him a lap ahead of
John Hunter.
Yep. So it ended up being where Ty now had a lap, and all he had to do, I remember I was listening to it on the TV and on Sirius XM, and they're saying Ty doesn't even want to restart on the green white checker. All Ty wanted to do was stay off the back of the field and not drive into any wreck.
Right.
So how about Ty Dillon? The 32 seed is the killer of all killers, the final seed in this to make it all the way to the end. That was fun. Way to go, Ty. Good job, Colleague Racing. It's going to be fun watching the battle of the ties, like you said, Gibbs versus Dillon.
Yeah, I think the one difference you're going to see at a place like Indianapolis, at some of these other tracks, we haven't, like at Sonoma, for example, you're probably not going to get a situation like you had at Sonoma between Alex Bowman and Ty Dillon, because, literally, if you get two cars between you at Indianapolis, that's having half a lap. I mean, it's just a different deal at Indy. We're not going to see a lot of side-by-side racing. We never do at Indy. You get side-by-side because you're making a pass.
Yes.
Not because you want to ride there.
Not because you're staying there.
Right.
No, it was super fun. And by the way, we did have a winner in this race, and it was not one of the two people in the in-season challenge.
One of his most impressive driving efforts late in a race, Denny Hamlin was amazing to hold off Chase Briscoe and his fresh tires.
And we're not a show that talks about NASCAR news in general, right? We're supposed to be about betting and all that sort of stuff. But the little generalization of the news is, one, you hear people on SiriusXM all week, aero blocking this. Guys, aero blocking has been something in the sport for 50 years since Richard Petty and Lee Petty was dang near driving the sport. That's what it happened. Denny Hamlin is a master of it, did a great job of it, held on to get the win. Way to go, Denny. We said when Denny has a bad race, what happens afterwards? He comes back with a vengeance. And here he is with a vengeance, getting that win. And I listen to Sirius all day long, when I'm driving around in the car. And somebody made a comment this week that they said that concrete is more slippery than asphalt. Why they didn't like the racing at Dover. And I went,
do they realize that one of the components to asphalt is oil? It
was somebody in the sport that has been in the sport a long time.
And I'm not an expert on.
And I just shook my head and went, it's more slick than what? Okay. So
in fact, it stays more consistent.
So
asphalt changes more with the temperature.
This and it made me shake my head and go, wow, I don't know where that came from. But we did get the great winner with doing a great job of aero blocking. Great job to get himself there.
And look, let's face it. He was very, very fortunate to have a teammate racing him there at the end too. And if you're Chase Briscoe, he probably would have been a little more physical with somebody that was not a teammate.
The dominant car, and of course somebody had him for a top 3 this week, was Chase Elliott. And Chase pitted at the end. He wasn't as good when he wasn't in the lead.
Well, and that was because his pit crew, I don't know if it was they dropped the jack earlier. They didn't get I think the jack popped out. So he went to jack the car up, and as soon as he jacked the car up, the jack went down. It popped out, so they had to jack the car up. He lost about 4 or 5 spots on pit road. Was never the same car, not running in clean air.
He got the lead again, but in the end, he pitted and he made his way back up to Chase Elliott, I'm talking about, made his way back up to 6th, but somebody had him for a win, and I was a little bummed out about that. But the winner was Denny Hamlin, and Denny did pay you a little something if you won. He was.
My favorite part of the show was going to be at the end when we talk about how we did last week.
Yeah. Notice I'm kind of scanning over that real quick. Denny Hamlin won plus 400. Top 3 was plus 120. He was minus 110, minus 145, and minus 145 against Larson, Byron, and Blaney. Group A, he was plus 220. We talked about that. Remember, I said I wanted to pick Denny Hamlin in Group A, but I stuck with the Chase Elliott. I kicking myself for that. And Toyota was a plus 180. Another one I did say I liked was the plus 180 on Toyota. In the top 3, you had Denny Hamlin was plus 120, Chase Briscoe plus 400, Alex Bowman, a guy that Jeff Motley is not allowed to talk good about, another top 3 for him. But when you look at the top 10 here, other than a Bubba Wallace sighting, maybe this was
Ty Gibbs and Bubba Wallace both getting
but see, Ty's been great. Ty Gibbs has been super strong lately. And so, Larson, finally a good run for Larson, a little bit off the schneid. He needed that. But Chase Elliott right there, Bubba, Ryan Blaney, Chris Buescher, and Brad Keselowski, 2 RFK cars.
I know it really hurt you that Chris Buescher finished ahead of Kyle Busch, I believe, in this race.
Yes, and it was and when you say finished ahead of Kyle Busch, it was like Kyle was on his rear bumper with him and Brad. It was 11th to 9th, and I was so bummed because I did have a large number for Kyle Busch in a group matchup, so I was very bummed about that. Our group winners last week, Denny Hamlin, of course, we talked about, was Group A. He won the race, win Group A. That's what you're supposed to do in Group A. Chase Elliott finished 6th, won Group B, had the race won, didn't get it in the end. Group C, we had Chase Briscoe, and that was a help. We said this, remember, Chase had poor stats, but Martin Truex Jr. had great stats. We've said, right now we're going off of a new era of Chase Briscoe, looking at a lot of Martin Truex. He beat Alex Bowman, who finished 4th. He beat 3rd. He beat Ty Gibbs, who finished 5th or 6th, whatever it was. He beat Brad, everybody in the top 10 in Group C.
Well, and the thing with Chase Briscoe, this is becoming an every week thing now. And I tell you, if you go back and look through the last 3-4 years of the history books or 5 years, Martin Truex Jr. was pretty good at a lot of racetracks. Mm-hmm. And the fact that Chase is really starting to fall in line into those tracks where Martin Truex ran well,
him and James Small are starting to get this down.
I think look out. And I mean look out all the way to the championship this year. I'm not sitting here predicting he's going to win it yet, but I will tell you now, he is going to be one of the guys to beat.
Joe Gibbs Racing has turned him into Martin Truex light, and it's starting to come on. Group D, of course, our man that just cashes tickets, Chris Buescher. I bet against him. I had Kyle Busch, and I should know better to bet against our man, Chris Buescher.
That's why I was on the Buescher bandwagon.
Austin Cindric won Group E with a 16th place finish. And then Group F, Michael McDowell, the old McDougal, finished 13th. I did not see that coming, honestly. Yeah. I was impressed with that finish.
And just another heartbreaking race for Noah Gragson. I mean, Noah was going to have a top 10. Gets caught up in somebody else's mess for the second week in a row. Just unfortunate.
My guy's got to you got to run a little bit better to get out of some of those things, but some of those are happening to the front.
He was running top 10. Christopher Bell was on the front row and kind of triggered that accident and took out Byron and
Seabell spinning there. That was impressive.
He spun twice in the race on his own,
right in front of the field, and everybody missed him.
Very surprising.
Our points right now, we were talking for a few weeks like we might be able to get over 16 winners before the playoffs. We got four holes in 5 races. I don't see us getting 5 different drivers in each race, so I think we're safe on that.
We've only got 2 races left on the schedule that I consider wild cards, and honestly, the way we're seeing Shane Van Gisbergen run on road courses, I'm not so sure we have but one wild card.
He made me your playoff leader with one more win.
Well, Denny at least is making a run at it. So,
but now you look at the points at the end, the cutoff line getting kind of tight again. Right now, Bubba Wallace hanging in there. He's got 16 points on Ryan Preece, but it's going to be tight at this cutoff line. Kyle Busch inching his way back up there. Ty Gibbs with these, he was like 29th in points. Maybe 6, 7, 8 races ago. Here he is now in 19th, moved his way up. So anytime we get another winner, though, that line will keep moving if somebody gets one.
And that's if we get a winner. And keep in mind, that's getting a new winner that's not currently in the top 16. And when I look at guys who haven't won a race this year, I mean, the first one that comes to mind is Tyler Reddick. Well, he's already 13th in the standings, so that's not going to really affect the ones below him. And right below that, I probably look at Chris Buescher and Alex Bowman.
No, you're not allowed to say this.
I guess I look at the ones that are under the cut line. Ty Gibbs, probably the one I think has the best opportunity to get to victory lane. And then, look, Kyle Busch, I think, is going to run well at Watkins Glen, but we'll just see if they can get those cars better at some of the other tracks. And obviously, Daytona ends the regular season.
It could be anybody, so it always gets tight there. Upcoming schedule, of course, this week, the championship round at the Brickyard 400 at Indy Motor Speedway. The Iowa Corn 350 at Iowa after that. The Go Bowling at the Glen at Watkins Glen. The Cookout 400 Richmond Raceway, and then, of course, the final race before the playoffs, the Coke Zero Sugar 400 at Daytona. Always exciting when we get to Daytona with that. We've seen Harrison Burton with the walk-off last year. You can always get that walk-off in that last race, and that's what makes it so exciting going to Daytona.
Well, no, absolutely, and that's why I'm pretty excited about seeing, the way we've got it broken up over these last 5 races. I always get excited about Daytona, but there's also, just even starting with this week, I know the Cup races at the Brickyard have not been the greatest.
I love them. It's another
but you know what?
It's Indy.
It's Indy, and that's exactly right. I feel the same way. It's Indy.
No, it's Indy, and that's what is fun. Is it doesn't matter that the races aren't. Look, we did the road course, and the road course was fun. Don't get me wrong. I did love the road course, but I went to the first Brickyard 400. I was in college. Dad, of course, we were big with Budweiser. I got to go watch that first race. And, you watch the Brickyard and you go, it's just the Brickyard. If you're a race car fan, doesn't matter what era, you loved Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And that's why Kyle Larson goes and races Indy 500.
Hey, look, motorsports started in this country at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. I know
Milwaukee will argue with you a little bit.
Well,
but
that's the one everybody remembers. I mean, they go back to the early 1900s. It's a long time ago, and it's a lot of history at that place, and winning there's special.
It is special. All right, when we come back, we're going to get to the nuts and bolts of what we do here on Gone Racin'. We'll give you who's been good there and all the odds to win at Indy when we return on Gone Racin'. Welcome back in again from the Dude Wipe studio at the South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa in lovely and fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada.
You got all the highlights in there. Everything was on your cheat sheet.
I think next time I might do a William Shatner, do the really long with the pause in strange spots.
Oh. Well, I was going to say, what are you going to say?
You didn't know the
final frontier.
That's space. The Final Frontier.
I was never a big Star Trek fan, but my father loved Star Trek. He would watch it all the time.
Star Trek, Star Wars,
and I just
Stargate.
I've never gotten into science fiction.
I'm a dork.
It's not my thing. Star Wars, I think I saw like the first couple.
If you start talking, we're going to have people actually not hit link and subscribe and all that stuff. If you start saying you're not a Star Wars fan because we're fanatics, just end it right there if you're saying you're not a Star Wars fan.
So racing people are science fiction fanatics?
Yes.
Huh.
Yes.
Learn something new every day.
Welcome back in, Gone Racin'. Jeff Motley, Brendan Gaughan here talking about Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And let's talk real quick about some guys that have been really good here. And right off the top.
How many times you've been called Gaughan?
Gaughan in Japan. It was pretty impressive.
I'll bet there's some track announcer or some radio guy somewhere the first time you raced there butchered your last name.
Only my good friends, though, Jeff. Call me Brandon. So the guys that are great here, and we're going to start off with the guy that has the best record, which is an amazing stat here. 17 races, 12 top 10s is our guy, Kyle Busch. But Jeff, that was all with a different race team.
Yeah, and look, we love Kyle, but goodness gracious. I mean, until that team can, and look, and I say that team, Richard Childress made a pretty interesting comment. He got on the radio. He was not happy because he's like, I know what my drivers can do. They've shown what they can do. We got to give them better race cars. And Kyle Busch has got great stats at a lot of different racetracks, but right now, the cars that he's running, I just don't think they're competing for wins right now.
And right now, Kyle Busch finished 20th at Pocono, which we always say Pocono and Indy are very similar. And when the return to the oval last year, he finished 25th here at Indy with Richard Childress Racing. So that's not looking good.
And keep in mind, a lot of these younger drivers have got very, very few laps on this track because for 3 years we ran the road course. So,
but look at this page. Now, the problem is this shows stats for, it's 4 races for Bubba Wallace with 3 top 10s. Okay. The problem is some of those top 10s were not on the oval. Those stats, no.
They
are all on the oval.
These should be oval stats,
Bubba,
I believe.
Bubba, he has 3rd, 9th, and 5th in 4 starts at Indianapolis.
Yeah, and how about Joey Logano? 13 starts, 8 top 10s.
Bubba Wallace, though, that's a hell of a stat right there. We might have to let's get in the odds, and
and we can talk about it more when we get to the odds. But I know we've talked about this earlier in the show. If you want to go back and look at some of the last oval races at Indianapolis, one of the absolute dominant drivers,
I know who you're going for,
was Martin Truex Jr. And where did Chase Briscoe last win? At Pocono. And we say Pocono is very similar to Indianapolis. I know we don't have stats for him on this list that we're putting up on the screen, but when we start getting into the odds, let's not forget Chase Briscoe.
Well, let's get into those right here. And we're going to kick off with our favorite, which no surprise here, honestly, if you follow the sport in this track. Denny Hamlin plus 400, Kyle Larson and Ryan Blaney both at plus 600, William Byron 10, Christopher Bell, Chase Briscoe, Chase Elliott, Chris Buescher, and Tyler Reddick all at 12-1, Ty Gibbs 20, Brad K 25, and Joey Logano 30-1. And let's just go right to the 2 places we were talking about. Chase Briscoe is 12-1 right there, right off the top. Kick it off there.
Wow. 12-1. That's
Pocono winner. This team has turned into Martin Truex light.
Oh, and by the way, where's Chase Briscoe from?
Oh, yeah. He is from the great state of Indianapolis.
I mean, how
Indiana,
big?
Not state of Indianapolis. Wow.
Well, we know what you meant.
That was a
But how
folks.
big you think this race is for him?
This is
huge.
Hey, it was a home track for Martin Truex.
Well, every track was a home track.
It's a home track.
Anything east of the Mississippi was Martin Truex's home.
I thought we moved that line to like the Rockies.
Oh, okay, Rocky Mountains. That only cut out about 4 tracks down to 3. Well, be back to 4 next year, by the way.
I'm coming out of retirement, by the way. But no, I look at that, and then who's a guy that's been hot right now? Chase Elliott. Look, Chase, every week right now, Chase is right there. He won Sonoma. He had this one won. He's got 2 top 10s here in 7 races, but he's got a couple good ones, even lately, 9th, 11th, 10th. So I like those 2 numbers with Chase Elliott and with Chase Briscoe both to win. Those are good ones. Tyler Reddick even. Ty Gibbs. There's good numbers on this page.
Well, I agree with the favorite. I do believe Denny should be the favorite, the plus 400, no question. But beyond that, it's hard for you to tell me that Chase Briscoe shouldn't be the next favorite line, 12-1. And now let's talk one thing about Pocono. Part of that was Elliott was able to conserve fuel. Because Briscoe could conserve fuel. Hamlin probably had the best car, but he couldn't catch him. But he couldn't catch him at the end.
But Blaney was up there, led some laps. Chris Buescher, Chase Elliott, all these guys we talked about were all up there. They're all guys that have great returns, even for a win. I do like a lot of those. Let's get to the second page. We got Alex Bowman, Carson Hocevar, Bubba Wallace, all at 30-1. Ross Chastain, 40. Josh Berry, 50. Austin Cindric, Ryan Preece, Kyle Busch, Eric Jones, all at 60 there. Daniel Suarez, 100. John Hunter at 200, and the Dinger at 200-1. The field at the South Point is 20-1. Don't see a field bet, but I know you don't like him, aren't supposed to say good things. Alex Bowman and Bubba Wallace, 230-1s there. I just read the stat about Bubba. That kind of intrigues me there with Bubba Wallace. I mean, he actually won stage 2 in this race last year.
Yeah, that's a pretty good number.
26 laps, was up there pretty good.
Yeah, that's a pretty good number there on Bubba. I like that 30-1. I mean, I like both, and I like Bowman getting him 30-1. I mean, I think that's a really good number on Bowman. So I agree with you on both of those. Is this going to be one of those weeks where Josh Berry surprises us? The thing with Josh Berry, and this is the kind of week where some reason I could just see Josh Berry running well.
It's all of a sudden it's Penske. I mean, Wood Brothers, Penske at
and we know Blaney's going to be good here. Logano has always been good here. I don't know. I guess I look at a guy like Berry. If you're looking for a really big long shot who could come out of nowhere, Josh Berry would be that guy.
Berry finished second in stage. Well, Pocono, they flipped the stage, so there's why we see some of these odd numbers. But second in stage 2, finished 12th. I mean, he ran well there, and I wouldn't put it past it.
I'm just saying, if you're looking for a long shot,
those are good numbers on 2 long shots.
Because usually when we're talking about the second page, we're talking about long shots, right?
Yes, absolutely. Let's get to top threes. Top threes, of course, now we switch over to DraftKings. Kyle Larson and Denny Hamlin both at 150. Ryan Blaney 220, William Byron 250. Chase Elliott 265, Tyler Reddick, Chase Briscoe 320, Seabell 350, Boucher 400, Joey Logano 550, Brad K 6, Ty Gibbs and Carson Hocevar both at 7, Kyle Busch plus 800, Bubba Wallace 850. I like that. Ross Chastain, Austin Cindric, Alex Bowman round out our first page, all at 10-1.
Bubba and Chase again. Chase Briscoe and Bubba
Chase
again.
Briscoe's 320. I like that. Bubba Wallace 850 for a top three with the record we just talked about here. I mean, those are really good numbers, Jeff. I'm not against that. And Bubba last week came off a 7th place finish, not nowhere near the same track. Get it? But you know how I love momentum. Bubba's been running well. He's the last hole in the playoffs right now. He wants good points. He's not going to do anything stupid. His crew chief isn't going to do some random weird thing. You know, you can do some strategies at the Brickyard. He's going to play it straight, get himself a solid finish. Can he get a top three out of it?
And look, Pocono and Indy are tracks that Toyotas run well.
Really well at.
Again, I go back to what Truex's results at Indianapolis, but also you look at the Pocono race. I mean, our top two guys were both
Chase,
in Toyota.
Denny,
So
John Hunter 6th,
and we know Denny's going to be good. So to me, I see Bubba Wallace sitting there 850, knowing his track record here at Indianapolis and being in a Toyota. That's a heck of a number.
That's a good number. Second page on this, you got Josh Berry at 11-1. Then it jumps up massively for top threes after that. Ryan Preece, 22, SVG, Daniel Suarez, 25, John Hunter and Eric Jones, 28, teammates there. The Dinger, 35, Michael McDougall, 40, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. and Noah Gregson and Austin Dillon all at 55-1. Zane Smith, 70, Ty Dillon, 80, Justin Haley, Jesse Love, and Cole Custer also all at 80s. This is Jesse Love in the 60 deuce, got the mighty 60 deuce coming out this week. Todd Gilligan, 110, and Riley Herbst, 130-1. Riley, remember, Riley won the Xfinity race.
And did one of the best pieces of driving I've ever seen in his career in the Xfinity race.
He drove the crap out of it. So,
yes, he did.
I mean, you know, do I want him? Well, do I want him? Yes. I mean, it's Riley Herbst. But
right.
Do I want him for 130-1 for a top three?
That's a heck of a number for top three. I think if you're probably looking for somebody to kind of come up and maybe surprise you, maybe it's an Eric Jones.
It's a John. To me, it's a John Hunter after how he ran there.
Well, either one of those two legacy cars, because again, we get a good legacy car every week, right? Somebody. Last week we didn't get one in the top 10. But
no, I'm liking that one. I'm liking. And once again, if you want a real long shot, Riley Herbst did the best. That was what really set Riley Herbst on the path to getting that Cup ride. He came and won the Brickyard. He went off on a tear, won a couple races. So this is a track he really does like. You know, maybe we see something out of him. But to me, I look at the John Hunter right there. That's the one that I zero in on and say 28-1. Couldn't really happen. And Legacy's been running pretty good. And you just talked about the Toyotas. He ran good at Pocono.
He did. And I guess, though, again, it also gets back to it's Indianapolis, and I'm not expecting to see a really big upset. I think you get into these bigger numbers here for top threes. I just don't think it's going to happen. No,
and if you look at, like, even last year, I mean, Bubba Wallace was probably the oddest. Todd Gillen finished 6th there, too. Didn't know that.
And Zane Smith's a guy that you never know. I mean, you've been high on Zane a lot this year. I've been high on Zane and also my guy Ryan Preece.
Let's get into the head-to-heads real fast, and we're not talking about the playoff or the bracket. We're just head-to-heads. There are some fun ones this week, Jeff, and I'm zeroing in right away. You know, you've got Tyler Reddick at plus 140 versus William Byron. I like that. You got Chase Briscoe plus 140 versus Byron and Chase Elliott plus 140 versus Byron.
So we want to bet Byron on the don't line?
If you don't
want
the don't line,
a lot of money if William Byron.
That's a good head-to-head number.
What's he done for us lately?
Byron he's faded from the point lead. You know, Byron has absolutely faded. You go back and you look at Pocono this year. Byron, where we got here? Byron, where is he to be found? Can't find him. Going way down the list. Oh, well, God, 27th.
So I mean, I'm really, really tempted to go Byron on the don't line. We even have Christopher Bell getting a plus number against Byron too.
Yeah, I mean, there's some great numbers in the head-to-heads. But you know, you still got Byron plus 125 versus Larson. There's also, you know, do you say okay?
But if I don't believe in William Byron, so I'm not going to take that one.
But Larson's
not
plus
sure I believe in Larson right now
Larson
either.
Plus 115 for Denny, but there's the thing. Larson had a good run, not the Larson run we've been looking at. All right, guys, when we come back, we'll get to, of course, our favorites, the group matchups, and manufacturer prop. That's it. Yeah, that thing. Welcome back into Gone Racin, South Point Studio, the Dude Wipe Studio at the South Point. And Mr. Motley, Brendan Gaughan, we are hanging out, getting ready to get our group matchups at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And Jeff had a lot of intriguing stuff in the head-to-heads, and I believe a lot of intriguing stuff in the group matchups this week.
Well, one thing I think we're going to find out in the group matchups is if you want to take big long shots, there is big money available.
Big money available this week.
Long shots come in, and there's some guys that have had a little measure of success here that are getting big numbers.
Let's jump right into it. Group A, we do have our favorite this week, Denny Hamlin at plus 180, Kyle Larson 280, Ryan Blaney 290, Willie B 375. We just poo-pooed William Byron, and looking at the stats, he's got 1 top 5 in 4 races here, and it was a few years ago. It's hard to go against, honestly, Denny right here at plus 180.
And that's my problem, because I think Denny's going to win the race if he doesn't have an issue. And and his issues have not been as much of his own making or his team's making this year as they have been in previous years. So when he's had his bad luck, he ain't gonna have that much more of that. So
he's plus 150 for a top 3 or plus 180 to win this group. I don't like either one because there's not enough squeeze left for me on Denny. And Larson ran better last week, but not the Larson that we've since the Indy 500 we talked about it. Blaney okay here, but 290. And Byron, he's been sliding. He's got to come off the slide.
Well, I kind of agree with you there. I mean, I think that's the problem right now. I mean, Larson has been struggling. Byron's been struggling. Blaney's solid, but Denny's so good here. And look, let's just put it out there. There's a motivation inside of Denny to want to stand up on that stage and have NASCAR hand him that trophy at the end of the year. Like,
look, he's got more incentive than he's ever had.
I was going to say there is a motivation, I believe, inside of Denny that maybe he's never had right now, and I think it's showing on the racetrack.
We'll see what happens at the end of the season, but there absolutely is some of that. Group B, we got Christopher Bell as your favorite at 235. Then you got Chase Briscoe, Chase Elliott, and Chris Buescher all at 280. I'm going to start by saying I am so bummed that our main man, Chris Buescher, has been bumped all the way up to Group B. Deservedly so. Congratulations, Chris. Look, the Chase Briscoe bet to me, the only question I have, Chase Briscoe's plus 320 for a top 3 or plus 280 to beat these 4.
Well, first off, I'm going to predict that the winner of this group's name is going to start with a C. So at least I got that bet right.
Can we put odds on that? Can we get odds on that?
Yeah, minus 1,000.
Yeah, minus 1 million.
$1 million, I believe, unless somebody changes their name between now and Sunday.
Yeah.
Look, I know what you're saying there, and I looked at that.
CH even.
Exactly. I looked at that, and I'm thinking, well, wait a minute. He's what, plus 325?
320 for the
and he's got to beat 33 guys.
Or he's plus
but
280.
Plus 280, he's got to beat
4.
3 guys.
Yeah, or beat 3 guys.
So to me, this is the group where I love Briscoe, because I do think Briscoe is going to challenge for the win. And I like him for a top 3,
but here's
the numbers
the
are too close.
And this is where you got to be a smart gambler. Maximize your odds here, guys. We always talk about being a smart gambler, shopping your odds, looking at things. Here, I actually was just writing down my picks, and I have Chase for a top 3. But now I'm looking at the Group B, and I'm saying the same thing. I think he's got to beat Denny Hamlin to be a top 3. I think probably Ryan Blaney is one of those guys to be a top 3. Chase Elliott, I think, is one that he's going to have to beat to be a top 3.
And Christopher Bell. I expect Bell to run well here.
Let me look up some Bell stats. I didn't really look up Bell yet.
But
he doesn't have many starts.
Again, the Toyotas have run.
Nah, he's got 2 starts,
well
1
here.
top 5.
So I think Bell could certainly be a factor. I mean, look,
yes.
We know he could get a top 3 and not win this group. That's
Absolutely.
certainly a possibility.
Bell going back to what we say, at what do you call it, at Pocono. Where was old Christopher Bell here? Christopher Bell was 17th, no stage points.
Didn't he get in an accident?
No, he was finished. He ran to the end.
But didn't he get turned around and had to come from the back or something?
Like last week?
Yeah. I think something. Well, that happened twice last week.
I don't know. I agree with you. I think Chase Briscoe is a better bet than a top 3. It pays only marginally less, and it's still you're only beating 3 guys, not 33. So I do like that. Group C, we got a huge favorite with Tyler Reddick at plus 160. Then Ty Gibbs, 290. Brad Keselowski, 290. And who's the 2024 NASCAR champion?
Joey Logano.
He's plus 425 in Group C.
Who's got 8 top 10s and 13 starts at Indianapolis?
Wow. 425 for our reigning champion?
Who owns Joey's car?
Roger Penske.
Who owns Indianapolis Motor Speedway? I'm just saying.
I'm looking at this going, wow, you're giving me Joey Logano with a plus 425.
Well, wasn't it last week you took a plus 400 driver? It was Reddick in a group.
Almost had it.
So,
but
there's a lot of juice there.
Joey Logano, what's his current stats at Indianapolis Motor Speedway?
I told you they're good. 8 top 10s and 13.
Second best point getter last 10 races. 4 top 5, 7 top 10s, average finish 11.8. Hold on. You're giving me that, Joey Logano? Yeah, okay. What have you done for me lately? We love to harp on that. But he's plus 425.
Well, and let me tell you something.
Look, I love Ty Gibbs in this group at 290, but
look, I know Ty Gibbs throughout this entire in-season tournament thing has played down like I don't even know who I'm racing. I don't know.
Oh, he knows.
Let me tell you something. There's $1 million on the line, and number one, most important thing for him is beating Ty Dillon. Number two is how well he finishes in the race. Number one's beating Ty Dillon this week.
All the other weeks I said a lot of the guys didn't care, didn't pay attention.
$1 million on the line this week.
This week, I do believe they are paying attention to $1 million bonus.
No question.
And what is Ty? 19? 22? He's a baby.
He's a young guy, but I'm going to say he's got to be 22 by now, right?
I don't know. He's a baby. Give him $1 million payday. Wonder if Grandpa pays him. When I drove for my dad,
what's his percentage?
You know what I got paid?
What's his grandpa? It's not his.
Yes, I mean it's his grandpa. But
the grandparents spoil you.
Good
the
point.
Parents
good
don't.
Point. You know, my dad always told me, Jeff, win a race, he'd pay me double.
Nothing from
Times
nothing leaves nothing. Who sang that song? Was it Billy Preston?
All I know is
who sang that song? Nothing from nothing.
I won a lot of races and
nothing.
He paid me nothing. So I like Ty Gibbs, but 425 on Joey Logano might be a little too tough.
It's a heck of a number to dangle out there in front
on the
of
reigning NASCAR Cup Series champion at the track his owner owns, at the track that he's done well at with great stats.
Yeah, and tracks like Indianapolis, it takes a little bit of it takes some experience on those tracks. I mean, you're not going to see many young guys just go out there and win one out of the blue. That's why I think Keselowski could even surprise people here, but Logano 425 is very intriguing number.
That's a lot of cheese left out there. Group D, we got the man that Jeff's not allowed to talk about. Alex Bowman is your favorite at plus 180. Carson Hocevar, Ross Chastain, 285. I'm using that all year long. And Ryan Preece, plus 375.
Who did you pick to be the most disappointing driver this year? Do you remember?
I don't.
Well, we need to dig that up because I've got to start throwing that back at you because, again, he hasn't won a race yet.
I'm just saying.
Okay?
I'm just saying.
I don't dislike Alex Bowman.
I'm just saying.
I had to pick somebody.
Hey, listen, I had to eat crow when I had Martin Truex a couple years ago, and I was wrong until the playoffs. Then I was right. But let's get to this group. This one, Jeff, I got Ryan Preece. I know you've been high on him. Plus 375. It's a long return. Alex Bowman's just been running too well for me. And Alex Bowman at plus 180 does not give me enough. Now, here, let's give you some stats here. 6 races, average finish of 33.
For who? Bowman?
Yeah. 0 top 10s, average finish of 33.
Talk it up.
40th, 43rd, 33rd, 21st, 30th, and 31st. So
now I got to believe there was some calamity that happened in there.
Crash engine in 3 of those.
Okay. I was going to say, I don't think he just ran that poorly.
But still, and if I go back to Pocono, Alex Bowman 11th. So maybe it's not worth. Maybe it is worth picking somebody in this group. I was going to put an X, but Preece. I mean,
Preece and look, Chastain's got some laps in. I mean, so Preece has got a great number. The plus 375 is
Preece finished 8th at Pocono.
Well, and that's a nice number on Ryan Preece. And again, it's a Penske car. And we expect the Penske cars to run pretty well here. I think we know Blaney's going to run well. I think Logano will run well. So I have no reason to think that Preece won't run well here.
He ran last year at Stewart Haas here, so that's not. I don't know. Maybe the long shot on Preece is worth the money. Let's get into Group E real quick. We got Austin Cindric at a co-favorite with Bubba Wallace and Josh Berry, all at 260, and Kyle Busch at 290. I'm sorry, I give locks every once in a while.
Yeah, I think you and I are on the same page.
Bubba's
on
right
this
here,
one.
man.
Yeah,
Bubba Wallace, 260. It's the co-favorite in the group. I get that Cindric's run some well. You were talking about Josh Berry earlier. Kyle Busch has the stats, but not lately with RCR. I mean, with Richard saying what he did on the radio, I'm not expecting a 1-week turnaround on this. So
they've been trying for years to get better cars.
4 races, 3 top 10s. Bubba Wallace all day long and twice on Sunday.
Yeah, I'm all in on Bubba in this group here too. I'm totally with you. The fact that Bubba drops all the way down to Group E is surprising to me. I mean, I probably would have Bubba up there in Group C over maybe Keselowski.
The alternative of this, we got Kyle Busch in Group C and we're not jumping or Group E. Sorry, not C, E, and we're not jumping all over.
Right, but look, and we've been saying this, and I guess the horse is not only dead, but it's buried now. But this isn't the same.
It's just like Jimmy Johnson at the end of his deal.
Exactly. And look, I'm not saying Kyle is not still capable as a driver, but there's also an old saying, you can't win the Derby with a mule. And right now, they don't have the cars to go out there and win these races.
Don't disagree. Let's get into Group F. We got enough time in this segment to finish off our groups. And we got the Dinger and Noah Gragson at 265, McDowell and Zane Smith at 270. So you got ride swappers and old guys and McDowell has the most experience of this group, but we used to say that running Indy is kind of like running the road course, where you got the heavy break in, you got all that sort of stuff.
And McDowell has a win on the road course here.
But I was going to go McDinger and McDinger. McDowell and the Dinger, both road course guys, but it's just not a lot of juice in this thing.
I get a McDinger with my Happy Meal?
They say, professionally unprofessional.
Here we go.
If you want to do more than just listen to us on Sirius, you can always go to the.
Don't sleep on Zane Smith in this group.
You've been high on Zane a lot of times.
Look, Noah has run well for the last several weeks. He just hasn't finished well.
If you go back to Pocono, Zane and Noah were 25th and 23rd right next to each other, so it's hard to pick. I don't know.
Well, I'm just saying that Noah's been pretty unlucky lately.
I'm putting an X on. Group F is my X this week. Nothing fun.
Yeah, I'm not touching Group F.
All right, guys. When we come back with the manufacturer props and how well somebody did this week in Gone Racin'. Welcome back in Gone Racin', 2 on a 2 box, which means I'm at that camera, Jeff. It's the 2 in a 2 box.
Yeah, no, it looks like you and I both are on Zoom, even though we're sitting here 3 feet apart.
Welcome back in Dude Wipe Studio, South Point Casino. Jeff, we were just wrapping up our group matchups, and I forgot to mention that we still have, of course, the in-season bracket challenge, and we have the final head-to-head, and I am going to pick Ty.
You're gonna pick Ty with your heart or your head?
I'm just picking Ty.
Oh, kind of like I'm picking the guy with the C in Group B.
Yeah,
okay,
we got 2 of those this week. Ty Dillon is the 32 seed.
Are both of their names Ty? Is one Tyler? Is one Tyrone? What is there?
Well, we call Ty Dillon Tyrone, but his name is Ty.
It's just Ty.
Just Ty.
No, not Tyler. Not Tyler like Tyler Reddick.
I don't know about Gibbs. I don't know.
I was just curious. I probably could have looked that up beforehand, but I thought you being the Swami of all things. No.
I know Tyrone is Ty, but I don't know about Ty Gibbs.
All right.
Ty Dillon though plus 180, which first of all he's the 32 seed. Come on, DraftKings. Have a little guts. Throw out a 220 or something on that. And then you go minus 250. You want to talk about I'm an old sports guy.
Here's the deal. Ty Dillon's only got to beat one guy. Yep. And we know that flat tire, blown engine, get caught up in a crash, which restarts at Indy. As boring as Indy can be sometimes when they get spread out.
Restarts are wild.
Restarts are wild.
And here's the deal. I expect Ty Gibbs to be near the front of this race, maybe even win this race. What happens on those restarts when you're near the front of the pack? It gets wild. People take advantage of the deal. Ty Dillon, I don't expect to be running for the win here. I think Ty is going to be mired in that where he's been, mid-20s. If he has a good run, that high teens.
He's going to just try to ride the storm out, right?
So if Ty Dillon is not in the big hornet's nest and Ty Gibbs gets in it, Ty Dillon runs away with another one. So, and I've also had a promise that I'm going to pick one every week, so I may have to pick one. What odds will you give me on Ty winning?
Well, he's plus 180.
Just Ty.
Oh. See, stop tricking me there.
Got him again. Our last bet, of course, the manufacturer prop. Chevy is plus 130. Toyota is plus 160. Ford is plus 265. I said last week that I thought the 180 bet was a good bet. I think this week the 160 bet is an even better bet.
Well, I also don't think Ford at 265 is a horrible bet.
With what Roger's going to have that Penske group up on they're going to be on the muscle right now.
But I kind of agree with you. Look, I think Denny Hamlin's a favorite, and then I think Chase Briscoe is the next favorite.
Plus 160 is a good number on the 3-man prop, on the manufacturer prop. I do like that one.
And I would be very, very tempted to take that plus 160. It's probably not going to be one of my 5, but I'm
very tempted to take it. That is a good one this week. And I said last week I should have taken. Remember, I said Denny Hamlin or the Toyota. I like those 2 bets, and I was going to kick myself. Well, I kicked myself. I could have had another win.
Yes, we know one of your picks this week. We know 2 of your picks this week.
No,
maybe.
You don't know
we don't really know. 2.
You don't know. You don't know nothing yet.
You know what I do know? I do know you're going to pick Ty.
I am going to pick Ty.
I just hope you don't make me. I just hope you don't make me do math.
Understood.
I don't like doing math. As you know, my math is not always
good. Trust me, the commish over here, we got to double check his math every week. In the championship odds, the only one I've noticed, Chase Briscoe down to 16-1. Chase Briscoe has moved the right direction.
That number is not going to get any. But you're not going to get any bit more juice on that number.
I still believe that is a great number on Chase Briscoe with what you and I expect him to do later in this season. I do love that one. That is the biggest value left on the board to me. Other than that, you still got some value with Reddick and Logano. I mean, Logano's your current champion. He's 15-1 still. The rest of them, very, very tight.
Even I think Chase Elliott plus 800 right now.
And he's gone down. Remember, I told you 4 weeks ago, he was 12 and 14-1.
Right. He's starting to show championship form right now. So I think that one's still probably worth taking a look at.
So we tried to get through some segments earlier today so we could let Jeff Motley take control of the final segment of Gone Racing to brag extravagantly on how he did this week with our picks at Dover.
Well, I was very fortunate this week to get 4 out of 5, and I missed 5 out of 5 by Ryan Preece getting into the last crash. But I was all in on Chase Elliott and 2 head-to-heads over both Blaney and Byron. I love Chase Briscoe for the same reasons we talked about to win Group C. And much to your dismay, I did have Chris Buescher in Group D.
We went head-to-head. You won the head-to-head.
Just eked out over Kyle Busch. In fact, he was trailing Kyle Busch most of the entire race in that group there. So for him to pull that out. But, yeah, huge week for me. Which probably means it'll go the other way this week in Indianapolis, but I'm going to enjoy it while I can.
A 10.35 to the good this week. So if you listen to Jeff Motley, you made some money and you cashed some tickets. I had a decent week. I had a whole lot better going.
And you made people money as well this week.
When before the red flag came out, I was really excited. I had Chase Elliott in the top 3. I had Kyle Busch winning Group D. I was looking strong. And then the red flag so I still got me at positive. I was plus 1.35 units. I had Elliott over Blaney. I had Gibbs over Reddick. So I did get us into the positive category.
That was your sticking with picking the tournament.
Yep,
and you picked right
another tournament, right?
There.
So I'll take those 2. The pit crew, they won the Denny Hamlin pick, which I said I liked a lot. They did win that one. They afterwards though they ended up with a minus 0.8 for the week, but they are still for the season, Mr. Motley. All 3 of us.
They're still making you money.
If you have linked and subscribed, you will see the graphic right now on the season totals for the Gone Racing League and the pit crew plus 9.
Order has been restored.
Oh yeah. Listen, so the cream rose to the top last week and it had a little curdle to it, but don't worry. Lot of racing left on the season.
That is all a subjective matter on who is the cream. I'm just saying. You won last year.
Hold on.
But what have you done for me lately?
Last year?
Yes.
Or did I absolutely just is there a word bigger than dominate?
Let me ask you this. If you win a race by 2 inches or you win by 3 laps on the field, the trophy is the same size and the check is the same size. So it doesn't matter how much you won by. You won, and I acknowledge that you won.
I still know that I won Michigan years ago with the greatest lead in the history of the Truck Series, and it was 20 seconds. I slowed down to 10. So I still remember that.
Well, this isn't like Florida State and Bobby Bowden days running up the score on everybody here. You won. It doesn't matter.
I still think,
right now,
I just want to point out I had 100 units last year.
And right now, you're losing.
Loser. Okay, so with that, we get to our picks this week, and I am going to kick off, of course, the team that has picked last for almost 2 straight seasons now.
Ever since they put up that wrestling photo of them flexing on us.
Oh, Karina and Wyatt and who else was in that?
Yep.
Who else was in that picture? I can't
Karma
remember.
is what?
Karma is what? A word we can't say. Well,
I guess Sirius XM we can say, and I'm sure Southwest
I still don't think we
can.
It's okay.
We won't.
Let's go hot off the presses here. By the way, whose penmanship is this behind the glass? That's Ann. Ann's penmanship might be, I think I've said this before. It's gorgeous penmanship. We need to get like a close-up on that one day.
Well, don't show it to everybody. People will be forging her signature the next thing you know. So
it's printed, so it's no signature.
Showing the whole world her
They're picking a win this week. Oh. Ready? Hot off the press, Mr. Motley. They're picking a win. Kyle Larson, plus 600 to win to back-to-back at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Then you've got Ty Gibbs in Group C at plus 240. I'm going to go head-to-head with them. They have an Alex Bowman in Group D at plus 180. They're not listening to Jeff Motley. They are taking Chase Briscoe over Willie B at plus 140. And they are going to take Chevrolet to win at plus 130.
Well, they're putting their eggs in that Kyle Larson basket.
They are getting a Kyle Larson basket there. All right, I have lots of scribbles and not as good of penmanship. Lots of scribbles on mine because I made lots of changes as we were going. I'm going to start off. I have one head-to-head this week, and I am going to take Reddick versus William Byron at plus 140. I did like the Chase Briscoe. I really thought about doing the Chase Briscoe, but I have him picked as my next pick, so I decided not to do that. I am going to take Chase Briscoe in Group B at plus 280. You and I have discussed why I'm doing that. I cannot leave the Joey Logano Group C out there, Jeff. That's too big of a number on the reigning champ at the track his team owner owns. I love that pick. I am also going to go Bubba Wallace in that Group E at plus 260. Bubba's stats right here say that he is my lock this week, so I don't do it every week, but when I do, like Dos Equis, it's a lock. You lock it in. Bet it. And my fifth pick, what's my rule?
You're picking Ty.
I'm picking Ty, but I'm picking Tyrone Dillon at plus 180. TD, come on. I got faith in you, baby. Bring it home in the final round. Win the $1 million. And I think you owe me some money from a bunch of years ago. I'll call you after you win to collect. So now it's to your turn. Sorry, Commish, leader of the pack. Please, instill your wisdom.
It will be a little bit difficult for you and I to separate much this week because we are going to have three of the same picks. However, I'm sorry, Willie B, but I am going to do something I don't do very often.
Lines. You're going two.
I'm going three. I'm on the don't line of Willie B with Chase Briscoe, Chase Elliott, and Tyler Reddick. They're all getting a plus 140. So I'm going all three of those guys against Byron, and then you and I are in lockstep in both Group B and Group E. I'm going Chase Briscoe, Group B, and I'm going Bubba Wallace in Group E. I am so high on Chase Briscoe right now and this weekend that it's hard for me not to.
You're going a full don't line.
It's something I don't do very often, Byron they have not done much lately. He has really been fading, and which means maybe this is the impetus for him to get his season turned around just to screw me.
Now, but we do remember there used to be a guy that used to drive a car with that similar number, or it was originally, they swapped all that stuff. But there was a guy that was at Hendrick Motorsports for a long time that had those summer doldrums that we all said he was dead and dying, and then would go to the playoffs and absolutely dominate. So. Could be time.
But we are still in the heart of the summer.
Yes.
That's all I'm saying. So,
well, Mr. Motley, that is everything for the Brickyard 400 this weekend. Good luck to my 62 team, the Mighty 60 Deuce, Jesse Love. We didn't give him a lot of love on the show this week, but you going
to go and support him?
I actually am supposed to be there. Me and Darren Shaw, I'm supposed to get in Saturday morning so I can make sure I go through text with everybody.
St. Elmo's, have a shrimp cocktail.
I absolutely will be going to St. Elmo's if I'm there. Just the trick to the cocktail sauce there, you have to know how to breathe. Anybody that's been there understands what I'm saying. You got to know when to breathe in, when to breathe out.
And I love it. By the way, you can't put too much horseradish in there.
Look, the South Point, we do some pretty good horseradish here.
I love that.
But holy moly.
Yeah, it's some good stuff. If you ever been to Indianapolis, go to St. Elmo's Steakhouse, and the guy is in the front window making the shrimp cocktails.
Right there. It's
right
awesome.
there in front of you. It's
pretty awesome. So that's
and
everything.
I won't be here next week.
You won't be here this week. That's right. Next week I'll be running solo with somebody. I can't remember who. We haven't picked yet. But with that, we'll talk to you guys next week. We'll break down Indy and talk everything that is. I got no clue. Iowa. See you guys.